With the news coming out yesterday, of course, that Activision and Bungie are to go their separate ways, but Bungie is to be keeping the Destiny franchise. People have been asking me left, right and centre, do you think that Blizzard Entertainment can escape from Activision? Well, it's not quite as simple as that, but let's have a chat about it in today's video. Hi everybody, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. So with Activision splitting from Bungie, the stock market has already reacted to that, and in out of hours trading, the stock price has gone down nearly 10% since the actual market closed last night. And of course, this means that stock for Activision, which was trading only 2 or 3 months ago at around about the $81 mark, is now around about the $46 mark. This is absolutely crazy losses. And although there's an overall drop in the technology marketplace, there are certain gaming companies which are losing above that average. EA and Activision Blizzard being a couple of those. And I think we can equate a lot of the reasons to decisions which were made at those companies as well. But the question being asked is, with Bungie managing to break away from the manacles of this evil, tyrannical empire, can the formerly beloved, because I wouldn't say they're beloved right now, Blizzard Entertainment do the same and hopefully go somewhere to becoming the company that they used to be? Well, just hold your horses for a second, because it's a little bit more complicated than you may think. Because Bungie has split away, you may think, well, it should be easy, surely, for Blizzard to do the same. Well, not so much. You see, Activision and Bungie had a business relationship. Activision didn't have any say in the running of Bungie as a company. They had a business agreement in place surrounding the game Destiny. Bungie would create it, they had the IP, and Activision would publish it. And then, of course, there would be other things intermingled in that as regards to revenue that was wanting to be, produced, targeted, and then profit splits, blah, 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 blah. And obviously, if these targets weren't hit, then there may be repercussions, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, Bungie had enough, and that's what it appears to be, because reports have been coming out that once the news broke to the Bungie employees that they were splitting from Activision, they cheered. I told you things weren't rosy in the land of Bungie and Activision, but I mean, come on, that's not exactly me being a genius here. I think it was pretty apparent from the frosty nature of their relationship for a while now. Whereas Blizzard Entertainment is actually a subsidiary of Activision Blizzard, and Activision Blizzard is the merger of Activision and what used to be Vivendi coming together in 2008. So it's a bit more complicated than just breaking away. However, we also have to go a wee bit deeper into Blizzard Entertainment's motivations as well. Over the course of the last few years, we've seen the removal of some very significant people in Blizzard Entertainment from places of power. We've seen Mike Morhaime go in recent times, and then we also had Rob Pardo and Chris Metzen leave the company as well. Founding fathers and old school Blizzard Entertainment personnel. Also, if we go back, the people who created World of Warcraft, the vast majority of them are no longer with the company anyway. They left many, many years ago. And what we have now are teams that are being put together, as well as new personnel. And personnel have still stuck around here and there. Tom Chilton, of course, is no longer working on World of Warcraft. He's gone off to do a mobile project. And we see that the two major powers right now in Blizzard Entertainment are most likely going to be J. Allen Barak and also Alan Adam. Now, J. Allen Barak doesn't have the best of relationships with MMORPG people or, more specifically, World of Warcraft personnel either. He's probably known as the person who killed off Star Wars Galaxies. Jedis for everybody. And then on top of that, in relation to people's call for vanilla servers to be brought into the World of Warcraft, he came up on stage at BlizzCon and said the infamous "you think you do, but you don't" line. Just a few more months until classic servers arrive in the World of Warcraft. But it's Alan Adam that we probably really need to have a look at. You see, Alan is actually an original founder of Blizzard Entertainment, along with Mike Morhaime and Frank Pierce. Frank himself actually credits Alan as the founder of Blizzard Entertainment, as he was the one who convinced the other two to come together and to create the company. So he has history with Blizzard Entertainment going all the way back to the beginning. He did leave, however, in 2004, pretty much burnt out from the creation of the World of Warcraft, but returned to the company in 2016. But during his absence, he got involved in the finance game and hedge funds. You take that the way you want to take it. But he has been described multiple times as the genius of Blizzard. So let's just put some pieces together and say that Activision and Blizzard Entertainment split. Who would actually run Blizzard Entertainment? Well, would it be J. Allen Barak? I very much doubt it indeed. This is just speculation, but I would imagine probably Alan Adam would assume the CEO role of the company. And therefore, if that was going to be the case, we have to look at the ethos and the direction that Alan wants to take the company. And as we saw from BlizzCon last year, Alan wants to go heavily into the mobile marketplace. You just have to look at the press conference after the Diablo Immortal announcement to see exactly where Alan's stance is on this. He was absolutely resolute about the direction that Blizzard were going to go in terms of mobile gaming. Not only stressing that they were absolutely committed to it, but also making sure that everybody knew that they were taking some of the best developers away from PC onto these projects. He was making it very clear to his dissenting audience that he didn't care about what they thought. They were pulling these people, and it was almost a big FU to the whole of the customer base which they'd established for PC gamers for such a considerable period of time. So even if Blizzard Entertainment got its independence, that wouldn't suddenly turn them back to the company they were in the early 2000s, when they were committed to developing the future of gaming with projects like the World of Warcraft, with your Diablos from a few years ago, etc. No, this looks very much like a company that is committed to going into the mobile marketplace and making much less expensive games to maximize their profits. Maybe Alan's time in the finance sector has taught him that even more. On top of that, you just have to look at the management structure that's around the games that Blizzard Entertainment currently have. And I'm not talking low-end people that are just grafting away, working hard, trying to do a job. These people look more like they are very much complicit with what's going on with Activision Blizzard right now. They seem to be perfectly happy to be producing what is being placed out in front of us, which, to be honest with you, I think is very substandard indeed. I don't think half of them even touch their own product. They have no idea why people are rejecting it, because they have no idea about what people actually want. I think there has been way too much of a disconnect between the community and the development team, and it's got nothing to do with Activision Blizzard. It's got everything to do with the people who are at Blizzard Entertainment right now. As much as we yearn for the glory days of Blizzard Entertainment to return, the simple fact of the matter is the people who created the glory days of Blizzard Entertainment have now gone. Those superb developers who had amazing ideas and creative talent, they've gone elsewhere. Those figureheads which transform the company, your Metzons and your Pardos, they're gone, and your Morhaime, is just about to leave in a couple of months' time. These are the people who actually created the glory days of Blizzard Entertainment. And therefore, if Blizzard Entertainment is to get back to anything that it used to be, there actually has to be a complete paradigm shift within the company, a complete and utter attitude and ethos redirection. And if Alan Adam is determined to push Blizzard forward using mobile gaming, then where do we sit as PC gamers? Where do we figure in to their plans? Well, BlizzCon of last year was a very sobering experience because essentially we don't. They didn't create or show anything really off for us. And subsequent to that, we of course have seen Heroes of the Storm lose half of its team, plus also its esports, and eventually been left out to die. And then suddenly we're getting surveys asking if we'd really be bothered if they took esports away from Hearthstone. What next? Are they going to do the same for Overwatch? And World of Warcraft content speaks for itself. We don't appear to be their audience anymore. So if Activision and Blizzard Entertainment were to split and Blizzard Entertainment gain its independence, although I think that Activision has a lot to answer for in the way that Blizzard has changed throughout the course of the last few years, I would stress that the people who are currently positioned in the prominent roles within the company are okay with that, if not complicit to that. And I don't think that an independent break away from Activision would change Blizzard Entertainment as it exists today in any meaningful way for us PC gamers and us lovers of these various franchises. I think there would have to be an absolutely polar shift within the company to gain the trust back from its community. What I will say, though, is I'm really hoping that this split between Bungie and Activision causes other companies to look at their relationships with publishers and, if possible, make that breakaway. And I'm going to say specifically BioWare. I'm kind of calling on you here because you're a company who we are really worried about, and I mean really worried about. You have created some of the most amazing franchises with Mass Effect and Dragon Age, and we want to see these games for many, many more years to come. You've created some of the best characters, some of the best worlds, some of the best universes for us to explore and get lost in. And the last thing that we want to see is you consumed by the parasite that is EA. So if there's any way, BioWare, that you can get out of this relationship with this company that will, and you know it will, consume you if you don't do what it wants you to do, then we're going to lose a great, great company because they've done it before and they will do it again. So I hope you enjoyed the vid, peeps. If you did, do get a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and Twitch for live streaming. Links, they're in the description box down below. And I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.